Welcome to Great Question. I'm your host, Alex Fleming, spellcaster, podcaster, game designer, and I'm here with another solo episode. My birthday is coming up. As I record this, I'm just a few days away from being 34, which I have a lot of feelings about. So I'm going to keep this pretty brief today because I'm trying to enjoy the time and to make sure that I spend enough time working on Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner, which I'm going to be talking a lot about. I was really hoping to have the new version of the beta out by now, but I really want it to be good, and so my new promise, I promise that version 13 of the Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner beta will be out before Halloween. There will be a new version of Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner. Will it have all the features I was hoping for in version 13? I don't know. But there will be a new version out. I can tell you it has... what's new? What are the changes I've made? Big facelift to the user interface for usability. So it's going to be a lot more readable, a lot more... just usable, I guess. We've got new art that hasn't been released before. The art is, I want to say, about 90% complete. There's still some of the placeholder art that I made before, but it is getting close. And it's still going to contain 20 levels, this version. I have 10 more promised for the full version, but those are not going to be released yet. Yeah, that's what's going on. There's an auto compass coming where as time runs low, anytime you're below a certain threshold of seconds in challenge mode, a little pointer will come up and guide you towards where the closest trash is. And that's what I'm promising for version 13. I'm very excited for the more sort of long-range look of Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner. I just got a Switch, a Nintendo Switch, so I can actually start thinking about developing a Switch port of the game. I'm very excited to be able to bring Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner to that. I'm hoping that'll work out. Before working on the Switch port, though, I do want to do a mobile version and probably a Steam release. So you can look for those. I had set a goal for myself with Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner that I wanted to be done by the bulk of the game design and game building by the end of October, so I can start focusing on getting the game out there and making sure that I'm just polishing and getting rid of anything that would give you a negative experience and just have a good time playing the game. Since we're such a small team here, I wanted to give myself plenty of time for debugging and all that stuff. So that's coming up. I was really worried about meeting this deadline. Not everything is where I want it to be, but some things are way better than I ever thought they were going to be. So it's pretty cool. I don't think I talked last time about the trash can heads-up display, but this was implemented in version 12 of the beta, and this feature is really cool. Is as you're cleaning up the trash, the carnage in each room, there's a trash can on the left-hand side of the screen that will fill. It gets closer to the top of the screen as you get closer to being done with your task of cleaning that room. And it dynamically responds throughout the game. I think it just gives like a really nice kind of quick look at, am I close to being done here, or is there still a lot to do? So I'm really excited about that. I do want to talk about what I've been playing, since that's the other section of this. So I got a Switch, and it has been really exciting. We got a Switch, I should say. It's me and my wife, Corey. And we've been playing a little bit of Diablo 3 recently, which has been taking me back to being a teenager and spending so much time on Diablo 2, especially since I can play as the Necromancer again, which is super fun. It's really satisfying, and it reminded me of how this has been in the back of my head for this whole time, because I love breaking boxes and destroying rooms in RPGs. I forgot about that, but it's almost more satisfying than killing the monsters. Is after the monsters are dead, there's like a bunch of boxes and stuff, and you can use your attacks and you can attack all the stuff, right? And this is a pretty common thing in a lot of RPGs where they have breakable things. It makes the rooms feel a little bit more alive. It makes it feel like you're having these big scenes of violence. It makes sense that stuff gets broken. And I used to do this in X-Men Legends a lot also. Just run around destroying rooms with these area of effect attacks. And it's still so much fun. I was playing with Corey and she was like, hey, do you have to destroy everything? And I was like, no, I just like it. And of course, Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner is the other side of that coin. It is the fun in the object destruction or the cleanup of the aftermath of the object destruction. And I realized actually that there isn't much object destruction in the current design of the game. I don't know if that's something I want to implement. There's already so many things to do. There are still a few features that I wasn't planning on adding, but it seems like for usability purposes, I'm really going to need to add them, like a tutorial. I was hoping this would be a little bit more Mario-like, where you learn just by playing the first few levels, but I think I really need to put something in there. Anyway, so Diablo 3, been playing a lot of that. Then F-Zero, so on the Switch's online play mode, you can play all the a lot of Super Nintendo and original Nintendo games. So I started playing F-Zero, and I remembered, I think the only time I ever played it, I might have rented it from Blockbuster once or twice, but the only time I remember playing F-Zero was when my family went on a camping trip like we did sometimes. And on the way to the place that we would camp up in Northern California, we would sometimes stop at a hotel because we would go to this family camp with friends. And we stopped at this hotel, and I remember they had an SNES, and I don't remember having one at the time. And I rented it, or I asked my parents, hey, can I, play this, and it'll just build a hotel room. And I just played F-Zero all night. It's a racing game, if you're not familiar, or if you don't remember this game or you're too young for it. It's the racing game that Captain Falcon from Super Smash Bros. Is from. And it looks so good on the Switch, to be honest. I remember it looking good. But the graphics, everything happens in a 3D environment. They're all 2D sprites. But it looks really good. And the speed feels real. That's what I really like about it. I wanted a driving game that focused a little bit more on the speed than on, like, battle driving. I've never been crazy about Mario Kart, and I think it goes back to when other people had it as a kid, and I didn't, and so there was always just a skill gap, and I became disinterested. It just wasn't something I wanted to get good at. I did like the Crash Bandicoot racing game, but maybe it's just because it was the game that I had, and it was familiar. I don't really know. But F-Zero, oh man, it's really fun. The different cars handle so differently. You can feel it very easily. And I keep dying. I just keep blowing up. And I'm having a great time. And then, of course, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was the first Switch game that I got. And it's really fun. It's really good. I've been playing online a little bit. I realized I'm not very good. There's something about that game that calls to me. Maybe it's about the fact that it was a social game that I then bought a copy of later down the road. So my friends played the N64 version, and I had a really good time. I used to play Yoshi or Pikachu, and I really liked it, but I wasn't that good. I remember my friend would play as Kirby a lot, and he would spam the down B attack that turns you into a rock, and it was just really frustrating for some reason. So, again, because I already had another friend who played a lot as Link and Fox, the sort of classic when I think of old Smash Brothers, I think of those as being sort of the dominant characters. And then I got Melee because I did have a GameCube when that came out. And that was a really good time. I played a lot as Mewtwo. I just felt like I could compete, like I was somebody. I know it's weird to put all of your self-worth in something like that, but it was important to how my friends spent time. Were a lot of these multiplayer games. It was Mario Party, Super Smash Brothers. We played some GoldenEye. Anyway, that was taking me back. So I'm playing these games, and I'm trying to play them critically. I'm trying to take notes. I'm trying to think about how's the UI, how's the user interface being used here. How can I stand on the shoulders of these giants? And I gotta say, it has been inspiring. It definitely makes me want to build my own game. And I can't wait to share that with you, so look for that if you're listening to this when it comes out next week. Excuse me, that's confusing. If you're listening to this when it comes out, it'll be next week when you can play version 13 of the demo. Will it have everything that I want? No, but it will be out. And it will be a vast improvement on previous versions. Okay, so you might have heard some noise. I'm now moving into the final section of the show. Talked about what I'm playing. Talked about Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner. But I've got a birthday coming up, and so I'm trying to keep this a light lift, and I want to just make sure I can enjoy my birthday and enjoy the time around it. But I'm officially entering a mid-30s, no longer early 30s, period of time. And I just want to know, what does this year pretend? What is in store for me this year? That's the question I'm asking my cards. And I've been shuffling, and two of them just jumped out of me. I put the second one on the top of the deck. And the first one I'm looking at now. So I gotta be honest, this is sort of a chaos magic strategy of tarot reading that's been something I've stated on the show before, and I feel it. I feel like some things have been going so good, and then also I've had these attacks out of nowhere, like sodabags.com got hacked, and it was a big to-do to get the attackers out. I'm still dealing with it. But I feel that chaos energy. I feel it in me now. So let me flip over this card. Ooh, the Five of Swords. I don't know how I feel about this. This is what 34 means. Let's take a look at the book. So I'm using the Mythic Tarot. The Mythic Tarot. The Greek mythology themed tarot cards that I was given 2 years ago, I believe. A year ago. And I enjoy this deck. I enjoy it a lot. Wands. Swords. Here we go. Swords. 10, 7. Back to wands. Swords. Orestes. I don't know much about the House of Atreus. I know it's a tragedy, though. I don't like swords a lot. I'm not super thrilled to draw swords for this year. The 5, eh? So I'll describe the card a little bit. I mean, not looking at the book, I see an angelic figure. Could maybe be Apollo in this deck, I'm thinking. Or otherwise just like a very clear sort of angel. Man with halo and wings, and he's kind of glowing yellow, and he's got 5 swords in his hand, and in the other hand he's pointing to the swords, and there's a man in a white tunic on the ground, white man, and that man has his hands on the ground looking up like he's going to be given these swords. It's kind of a barren wasteland. There's mountains in the distance and some clouds. Let's see what the book has to say here. The card of the 5 of Swords portrays Orestes seated on the ground, facing Apollo, got that right, who has appeared to tell him his fate and his obligation, to avenge his father's death. Well, that's not my real fate and obligation, but I get it. There's a metaphor here. Apollo stands on the right, points sternly at the 5 swords, which he holds in his right hand. In the distance, dark clouds can be seen hovering over the mountain peaks. Those were those clouds I saw. Accepting of limitations, boundaries, and the confines of destiny. On a divinatory level, the 5 of Swords augurs the necessity of facing one's own limits and recognizing that life needs to be lived within the confines of one's capabilities. Oh, fuck you. Often there is a situation where the individual has taken on too much and must swallow pride and back off, facing honestly what is possible before moving forward. That hurts for some reason. So it does feel appropriate, though. It does feel like 34 is a time when you go, yeah, okay, maybe my body can only handle this much. Maybe my heart can only handle this much. Maybe that hangover is not going to be worth the time in the moment. And, it's not wands. It's not no wands. I keep worrying about my artistic projects, my creative babies. But that's not what this is telling me. I'm looking at the book. Limitations and their necessary acceptance are portrayed by the 5 of Swords, often require us to swallow false pride as well as fear. Sometimes you overstep. Consequences, yada, yada, yada. Well, I mean, I'm going to try to take that as charitably as I can. Because it's 34. I'm trying to eat a little bit better. I'm trying to structure my time so I go outside enough and I don't just spend all the time in front of the computer. I'm trying to be a better person every day. And I hope that listening to this has maybe given you some insight or some inspiration to do the same. Alright, well, that's going to be it for today. Recognizing my limits, I got a limit here as well. I got to go play some Diablo. I will talk to you all soon. Next week will be another interview episode. I'm very excited about it. Take care, and thanks for listening.
For more episodes of Great Question or more information about my upcoming game, Ultimate Dungeon Cleaner, go to www.sodabags.com.